Welcome back to Mom Made YouTube channel. We're doing loaf bread today. You'll need 4 tablespoons instant potatoes combined with 1 cup of boiling water. Stir that in well. Then you will need 1 cup of cold water. And 1 egg. And 1 package of prepared dry yeast. Stir that in very well together. Side note, this recipe will actually make 2 loaves of bread or 4 dozen yeast rolls, or in my case, I usually make 1 loaf of bread and 2 dozen yeast rolls, and that will get me through all the meals I need for the week. You will need 2 teaspoons of salt added to that, 1 cup of sugar, and a 1/2 cup of melted shortening. Make sure it's melted, because when it's a liquid shortening, then it tends to add a lot more fluffiness to your bread. Make sure that's stirred well, and put the dough hook on your mixer. Now the total amount of flour for this is 7 cups, but do not add it all at once. I will typically do 5 cups to start, and then mix that in well, stop the dough hook, and get a spoon or something and scrape the sides of the bowl, and then add the remaining 2 cups. While you're doing all of this, you can turn the oven on your lowest setting so that it will be warm enough that when everything is mixed, you can have the dough rise on top of the warm oven, and it will help it rise a little bit faster. Alright, make sure that all blends in well. Once it's blended well, you will need a lightly floured surface. And then roll your dough out onto that surface. Spread with some flour as needed, and you will want to knead that until you have a kind of an elastic dough that's not overly sticky. Once you have done that, you'll need a greased bowl that you can place your dough in for it to rise. I use Pam spray, but you can also use butter. You can use olive oil spray, just anything that's a cooking oil. You'll make sure the bowl is greased, and make sure the top of the dough is greased. And you will cover that with wax paper that is also covered in grease or oil. Once you have the wax paper on top of that, you will lay a towel over the wax paper and place it on your warm oven to let it rise until double. That'll be about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. You will then take a greased loaf pan once it has reached double and create your loaf. Place it in there. You will again spray the dough with your preferred oil and your oiled wax paper and towel, and allow to rise until double once again. While it is rising, you will need to set your oven to 350. Once your dough has risen to double, you will put it in the 350-degree oven for 25 to 28 minutes. You will want a golden brown. Once it comes out of the oven, you will get your stick of butter, and you will run that all across your nice warm loaf of bread before it cools, and this will help add some extra moisture and flavor to your bread as well. A lot of times what I will do, I will place a towel over this while it's cooling, and that will also lock in the moisture to keep your crust from getting too hard. And that is how you make loaf bread. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for joining Mom Made. Just